Hello, as this is our first week where we haven't had our coaching call, I thought I'd treat you to a video touching on what we spoke about last week about talking to people at work about ADHD. So first of all, you don't have to tell people that you have ADHD. It's a very individual decision and an individual choice, and it really depends on what your people are like at work, what your manager's like, and what the general vibe is. So when I told people at my work I had ADHD, I'd been at the same job, the same company for 4 years, the same job for 2 years, and I had a millennial manager who was kind of like, we'd spoken about anxiety, we'd spoken about mental health before, and it was quite a safe environment. So I think it really depends on how psychologically safe that you feel at work, and also whether you think that it's relevant. Because if you're in a team where lots of people are sharing different things about themselves and you feel like it's relevant to bring it up, you can. But what I want you to think about is what the point is of you telling people that you've got ADHD and what the outcome that you want. So whether this is something that is taking up a lot of mental space for me at the moment and I want you to know that this is a thing, whether it's something that you need support with and would like to ask for reasonable adjustments for, whether it is something that is a big part of your life. So if you're going through an ADHD diagnosis, then it might be something that it's just a big deal to you. And also if you want to look at things like applying for access to work, you'll need to tell your workplace, or if you want to look at, for example, asking for a flexible working request. So that could be more days working from home or something like that. So essentially what I advise people to do is think about, if they tell people at work, what's the outcome that they want, and also to follow up with saying, hey, I'm telling you this because I want you to understand me a little bit better. Here is an article which explains what ADHD is. So don't assume that they know what ADHD is, and also very much explain that it's something that is different for everyone, and explain how it shows up for you. One thing I would say is, once you've told people, you can't untell them. So if there is a risk that it could go wrong, then you need to take responsibility that if you tell people, you're taking that risk. But it could be something that strengthens your relationship. It could be something where it might not be something that goes well. It just really depends on the people that you work with. Legally, they're not allowed to discriminate if you have ADHD, if it is a disability. So some people, if you tell your manager, they might get a bit scared that you're now suddenly a liability. But I think that's where it comes in with talking about what the outcome of the conversation that you want to be. So saying, hey, I'm telling you this because I want to talk about flexible working, or I'm telling you this because I want to explain that when I struggle with prioritizing, it can actually be something that is to do with ADHD, so I might need additional support because of this. So it's a very personal process and a personal thing. But regardless of whether you tell people that you've got ADHD or not, I always think it's a good idea to discuss ways of working. So saying things like, hey, what really helps me is when you give me written feedback, or what really helps me is when you do X, or something that I'd like to try for us to do working together is for us both to take notes and put them on a shared drive so we can see each other's notes, or whatever it is. But regardless of whether you tell people that you have ADHD, it is perfectly reasonable to say the way that you want to do things, or ask people how they want to work together. And actually it can be really connecting if you're sharing ways of working, to say, hey, do you prefer calls, Teams messages, or WhatsApps? How do you like feedback to be given, and things like that. So it can actually be really connecting if you share ways of working mutually rather than just sharing how you work. But let me know your thoughts on sharing ways of working and whether it's something that you're going to do. But yeah, just wanted to pop this here and speak to you guys soon.